Hey there everybody in YouTube, welcome to the Mr. Sin channel. Today we're going to be talking about the circular flow of economic activity. Now this video is just explaining what that is, what the model looks like, and what's happening in it. I have an entire different video that'll go into all practice problems and application of it. So make sure to check both of them out. This one will explain just the concepts and what's happening, and the practice problems will go over how you can apply the model to a bunch of different situations. So without further ado, let's figure out what's going on in the circular flow of economic activity. So while watching this video, make sure to take notes. In fact, use the guided notes. You can find them in the description below. This model is simple, but it's very complicated when we get into using it in real life and when we're applying different situations to it. So it'll be really important that you follow along in the guided notes. Again, you can find them in the description below. They go right along with the video and they'll help you remember all of this information. Now, the circular flow of economic activity is important. This shows our economy. It shows how interconnected everything is. Now, while we go through this model, you'll see the factors of production. If you don't remember what the factors of production are, click the card on the top right. It'll bring you to my factors of production video so you understand what's going on. Now, this model shows the flow of economic activity in our society. And we're going to start with households. Households are the sellers of the factors of production. They sell the labor, the land, the capital, the ideas. They're the factors of production that are being sold off. Now, households also are the buyers of products. So households are doing two things. They're buying products that are finished, and they're also helping create them. So remember that with households. So going one way out of households is the factors of production. Coming in to households are goods and services, the ones that are final and that they are buying. Now, the next part of this model is the factor market. Now, the factor market is where households are selling their factors of production. This is kind of that middleman. This is where they're selling it to the company. This is where households are selling and the businesses or the firms are buying. This is maybe where you're working for a company. You're putting your time into them. You are maybe working at a factory, or maybe you're at a McDonald's or an Applebee's or a Best Buy or Target. I don't know where you work, wherever it may be. When you are working, you're in the factor market. You are giving your time, and in return, you get money. And this leads to what else is going into the household market. We have money, income. By working in the factor market, businesses and firms pay money. So while one way we have going the factors of production into the factor market, the other way is your wages, your income, and it's going back to households. So right now we have already part of this model filled out. Now, one of the important things with that is that also includes things like rent. Maybe a company is paying rent to you who owns the land or owns the business storefront. So you would be making money. So that also is included in there. Now, the other thing that goes into the factor market then is money from the businesses and firms. In order for money to get to households, it has to go through the factor market. So by working in that factor market, you are producing for a business or firm, and then they end up paying you. So the other thing that's going out of the factor market then is the factors of production. And that goes to our next part of the model, into businesses. Businesses buy the factors of production. And what they do is they sell finished products. So going out of the business is the finished products. And at the same time going out is the money, their costs. What did they have to pay for resources? What did they have to pay for those factors of production? So you can see the top part of the model is kind of filled out now. Now, going from businesses, when businesses have their finished products, they need to be able to sell it to people. And how they sell it to people is they sell it to the product market. So this is where you as a consumer then would go and purchase things. So for example, when you go to Hy-Vee or Target or wherever you're buying your groceries, you don't talk to every individual farmer. No, the store has it all laid out. You're in the product market. Now, when you're in the product market, you get to purchase all the different goods that they have. Now, all these different stores, they are not the ones making all of the decisions on what they should have and what they should order. They go to the business, and the business is buying from the farmers. They decide how much to send to all these stores, what deals to run, and where they should put products. And so the product market is where we shop, where we consume. And at the same time, if you work in one of those stores, that is then the factor market for you, because you're not consuming, you are producing. So you can start to see this flow. When we start to then buy in the product market, money, the revenue, goes back to the business, which then lets them spend more to be able to make more. And so this money is always going around one way, and on the other side is our factors of production and our final goods. So from the product market, goods and services again are going to the households, but money is coming from the households going into the product market. So we can see how this flow starts to happen and why it's so important. All of our businesses and consumption are connected. If you take one part of this model out, the whole thing collapses. People need to buy goods to be able to give money to businesses so they can support workers in the factor market. And the factor market needs to exist so people can make money to buy things in the product market. All of it is connected. Now, the last thing to point out about this model is a couple tips to help you, especially when you get into the practice problems in the next video. Tip 1, households and businesses can never be next to each other. They always have to be opposite. The reason why is there has to be that factor market where there is a production. That's then bringing revenue. And the product market has to be in between them so there's a spot to sell the goods. You don't go to the headquarters of Best Buy and purchase things from them. You go to the stores, the product market. Your tip number 2 is the factor market and the product market always need to be across from each other. They can never be next to each other. If they were next to each other, there'd be no flow of money and it would collapse. They have to be apart because this continues the flow of goods and services and our factors of production and our flow of money. So those are always opposite. The other tip is tip number 3 is remember that money goes one way and goods and services go the other. It's logic. You wouldn't go into Target and say, here's my money, and then walk away. No, you would buy something. That wouldn't make sense. The same time, you wouldn't go in there and just take a shopping cart full of goods and leave the store without giving money. That's called theft and you'll get arrested. You have to have a transaction that occurs. So for the arrows, money is always going one way and a good service is always going the other. If you can remember those, you'll be able to do well on all of our practice problems. So make sure to check out the next video. Thank you for stopping by. I hope this video helped you better understand exactly what's going on in this model. And until next time, I'll see you online. Don't forget to subscribe and check out the other videos on my channel. Until next time, I'll talk to you later.